All I'm doing is controlling her hand path from going out. I'll move this on the way down, but she'll take it back, helps her turn, keep her hands inside. And all that does for somebody who we've been trying so hard to get the arm not above the shoulder plane, because then it has to drop if we get the arm on the shoulder plane, which just means the hand path was correct and connected to the body center. That's just gonna allow you to do what, Ash? Really just push off and rotate harder, right? That's the only goal of why we try to get that club in a perfect position.
You know, with my hands rather than taking it out. Because it's just once I take it out, it just lifts.
Just referring to, if we set up on this line, hands are hanging on this line, hands staying on that line, and then working then inside that line, rather than ever having any of this motion and then having to go vertical. Okay, we got that. We're gonna work it. We're gonna get it out of there. Ash, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't we do something a little bit different here? Rather than just taking swings and just kind of putting a thought in there and then having it just get better by that much, why don't you do a couple like this? Because here's the thing, anybody can do what we're talking about here if it's done at a pace that allows you to actually do it.
It was just my setup that was
The setup is something that we will look at, absolutely, but I do want you to, the thing is not as much as you think, only when you get upright. Like if you get upright like this, you're going out. Because you're trying to counter the fact that you know you can't wrap it around you in. If you're over the golf ball in like a really athletic position, you swing underneath you better, and honestly, you lift it a lot less. Like that's just like, only because I've seen your swing for like 5 years now. All right, here we go. So here's the big thing. I want you to slow your takeaway down. Before we get into nitpicky things about looking at setup and anything that possibly could be leading you to not having your hands there, I just want you to slow this down, because when you rehearse it to perfection every time. And I want you to literally feel like you just go like this, incredibly slow, and then hit the gas, right? And because I want you to literally feel like the butt of the club scrapes that right hip on the way by. We're almost gonna have a visual of like, remember Ricky Fowler?
Yeah.
When he would kind of get this look?
Do you still do that?
I don't know if he does it as much anymore. I don't watch it. I didn't get a chance to watch much golf. Only major championship Sundays. Yeah, go super slow. Do it at a pace that you feel like you can actually get it down, and then we'll nail it. So athletic, tilted, that's good. Right by the hip and up. Because here's the thing. The reason why, other than just pointing out to you that it's nothing, it's not so much of the setup as you think it is, and normally it always, and I like where your mind's at, because typically setup dictates everything. If you're tilted, I saw you not miss a golf shot in that lesson back there when Mom was here. We were back on the mats back there, and I kept doing this right here. Okay, hop behind me here so you can see this, bud. All I'm doing is controlling her hand path from going out. I'll move this on the way down, but she'll take it back, helps her turn, keep her hands inside. And all that does for somebody who we've been trying so hard to get the arm not above the shoulder plane, because then it has to drop if we get the arm on the shoulder plane, which just means the hand path was correct and connected to the body center. That's just gonna allow you to do what, Ash? Really just push off and rotate harder, right? That's the only goal of why we try to get that club in a perfect position. So from this angle, we look for a hip bump in that spine angle. She's doing it though. It's okay. It's okay. So setup wise, right here, standing straight up. Quick little hip bump like this. Sets the spine right. Come down. That right there helps you turn behind the ball. Watch this. I'm not saying you're doing this, but if I was here, the natural turn's like that, right? So what would then happen?
Yeah.
Just kind of goes, lifts. This spine angle helps me turn, okay? So that's something that's really big for you as well. But you have that down. I thought you did a pretty good job of that. Make sure you have a good tilt over the golf ball. If anything, Ash, the tendency has been when you send me a video that you do get a hair upright, okay? That was a good swing. You know, let me ask you a question. Like this is important. Think about like what you would do, knowing like if you're watching your swing on film, you're definitely not going to. If you're set up this way, upright, I'm gonna exaggerate it. See how I'm like the center of a merry-go-round? If I was connected to this swing or to this position, that's like literally what my swing would look like. It would just right around behind me. My question to you is, do you think you would do that? No chance, right? So if we have the right tilt and you have the pressure in the right spots in your feet, which to me is just on the front of the laces here, balance, still feeling like I have weight back here, but that's probably 30% of my weight right there, Ash, and this is 70% here. So what's great is now I've created that space to play underneath my body. And what's cool is it's much easier to keep the club head out in front of you. Because I think what happened to you somewhere along the way is you tried to not take the club inside. Yeah. So what you did was you pushed your hands out to not take the club inside. Yeah. Such a common flaw that many, many students make. They get their hand path going that way to try to get the club out there. So what we want to have happen is we want your hand path to stay the same distance it was from the body. So if you went like this, you know, it kind of or had something under your arms, you'd see that your hands couldn't go out away from you. So when you look at actually how close my hands would be when connected to my body, you know, they're only about a fist length away from my right hip, which is exactly what they were when they started. Okay, so that's a cool little thought right there, or that little feeling, because it keeps your chest and your hands working together. Now, I kept telling Mom, I still thought this was like one of the best things for you guys, like when you're on the road. My only thing to you is do it at a pace that allows you to get it done, and then we can start picking up the pace once you have memorized the spot. It's really nice. Could you actually do me here? Look how good this guy's gonna do right now. He's gonna take a video on my phone while taking a video on the camera. So we have YouTube and an awesome swing video here. Gabe, give me a great angle on this one, brother. Now what's cool is, guess what? You can really start rotating around that left side a little bit more and firing your hands through impact more. Okay. And that will, you almost feel like you're hitting a cut, but it won't cut because your club's back in a position that now you're on the right plane. You don't have to drop that club underneath the plane anymore. Think about this. Hands up here, guess what the upper body's gotta do? Drop it and then go through, right? But now you're here, guess what? Just attack that thing. Get that right shoulder, fire into the target, rotate your body. One more for me, buddy. Thank you. That was pretty. Let's take a look at this, Ash. I mean, that's probably like, as far as where you showed up to a lesson though in the last while there, I mean, that's the most, let me stop that up there. That's probably the best we've seen right there. If that's the true top is right there. See your arm? Yeah. That's the first time I haven't seen your right shoulder in a while. So what I was trying to get at is, from here, this is a good position. You don't want to feel like you now have to then drop the club, because then you would get underneath and then it would just, you know, hit that little draw, overdone. From this position, attack it. The only thing I'd want to see, that's good. This position here, just make sure when the golf club goes back. Okay, if this was the ball, let's see, actually, let me do this for a second. All right, if that's the ball right there, I want the hands in, but the club pointed more in between the ball and your feet. We don't want to get that club pointed anywhere up there. Does that make sense? All that means is what? The club's just more in front of your hands and your body. So,
Am I rolling it?
a little bit. I think it's where that you can get rid of any of the overturned ball, right? Or weak right even. You know, we're here and we're just trying to get that club set more down to the inside edge of the golf ball. And I think that would be something that'd make a huge difference for you, okay? So remember, hands in, getting the club more out in front of you and set. So it's gonna feel like this. Ready? See that right there?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't want to get wristy doing that, Ash. You just want to let that naturally happen. We're just pushing the hands down. Did that ball make you do anything differently behind the ball? From the top of your swing?
Kind of.
Did you kind of feel like you had to kind of go do one of these? Yeah, exactly. That's what you need, because guess what happens to a player who gets those arms steep at the top?
Yeah.
A little bit of a before it then goes through. And a person who watches it with the naked eye goes, no, there's no backup to that, no chance. But like, no. It stalls out a little bit in that transition. It doesn't fire right through. I want to see you really get through it. There you go. Really close. Watch what's going to happen though if you hit it well. That ball flight should come flying off the club face really tight. Yes, best one of the day right there. So I was patient with those first couple swings because I said to myself, if you can just do that better and create an angle of attack for yourself and get down through that golf ball, I'm telling you right now, it makes a world of difference when you understand we're trying to hit the top of the golf ball down into the ground. It's going to keep you so much more on top of it. Oh. Those last two. Beautiful. Here's the short list. It's nothing crazy. We know what we're trying to do in the takeaway. We know we're trying to keep the hands in, just get the club. You know, a good feeling for you, Ash, is this. This doesn't really always happen to a player, but here's the line of my feet.
Yeah.
Just keeping the hands going down that line with the butt of the club set down to that line. Because the reality is, what happens when we turn? It works up the plane, right? Just for a player who has the tendency to have any of this at all, and who's trying to keep their hands in now, and who's afraid of going in there even more, right here. And when it's done really well, the pace at which your body turns matches the pace that you set that club. Watch this. 1. Watch my body. 1. So it goes 1, and it's all moving together. Okay? Then you have a good awareness of the club face, and then the feeling you just had of missing that ball and getting down on top of it's going to be perfect. Hey, how was your last round in high school golf? Okay? Did you have fun?
She played the AJG.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video. Any questions or comments you have, please leave them below. Also, click the link below to pick up 3 free videos. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy our channel.